Hello, welcome back to the channel. On this video we're going to be rolling a bouncy castle with a slide. Now it's a SeaWorld bouncy castle with a slide, this one, and it was put up in the garden to dry off because it got very wet over the weekend. So we've got a dry day, we're going to put it up and roll it. So there's a number of ways you can do this. Now I've got my own technique of doing it, some people have theirs. I always pull over the back on this one, pull the back down to towards the front or the slide section, and then I pull the sides over. And the sides here have got the windows in them, so I always find if I pull down the back first and then I'll pull the sides into the middle. Now as I'm pulling it in, I'm also squashing all the air out of it. I've done all the deflation zips obviously, and on this particular castle there's 3 of them, one at the back, one at the side, and also one in the step, one in the slide section. So 3 in total. So I undo them all and then I pull all the panels, the back down as I say, and then the 2 sides in while I'm walking over it and squashing all the air out. Now this particular castle is an air inflatables castle, which if anyone knows, if anyone's got any of these, I know they're very bulky and very heavy material. They're quite hard to sort of roll, particularly in the winter and cold months. So you've got to sort of pull it over best you can. In the summer it's different, it's nice and soft material and you can just pull it over quickly, squash all the air out. In the winter months it takes a little bit longer, particularly if it is wet and it's been left overnight. It just means you've got to take a little bit longer to get all the air out. So that's me squashing it all down as I walk about. Now I was in no rush to do this one because it wasn't like I had to get off the job and get to another one. This was just one I'd done on its own, so there's no rush. So anyway, I'll pull the slide section down. Now again, there's another number of ways you can do this. Some people start the roll from the slide section. They fold it over in half and then they start rolling from the slide. Now I have tried this, but I always find it works better to do it this way for me. But that's just a personal choice. So I'll squash all the slide section out again, get the air out of there. Now there is a deflation zip on this. It didn't come with it when I bought the actual castle, so I took it up to a guy who does my repairs, and he put a little zipper in the slide section, so it means you can squash all the air out a lot easier. Right, once I've got it to how I sort of want it, I'll pull over the slide section of the castle. So it's just over, or just under halfway across, or a quarter of the way across is the way I'll do this one. Now again, you can pull this over halfway and then roll it. Some people do it that way, but on my castles, I tend to, on this size, I'd go a quarter of the way over on the slide section. There's a little seam there on the left. I'll bring it over so the seam is just in line on that left hand side there, which is where I'm squashing it down now. Now again, you've got to squash all the air as you're going along. If there's 2 of you on the job, obviously this is a lot quicker, as I'm just doing it on my own. So once I've got that side squashed how I want it, I'll then pull over the other side. I'll pull that side over to meet the other side. Now if you do this half and half, it'll be a much bigger roll. It'll be a lot fatter in effect. So if you do it, double it over, double it up, it'll be a smaller roll, but it'll be a fatter roll, if that makes sense. So what you want to do, if you want it tall and thin, you go over a quarter of the way on each side, and that will make it tall and thin, which means it will go through most doorways. But the problem is with this, if you're rolling it on your own, you're not going to be able to get a proper roll on it. You need to be able to get to the 2 corners with your arms to be able to roll it properly. So I compromise and I just roll it quarter of a way on one side and I bring over the other side to meet it. That way I can get it sort of the width I want. It will go through most doorways this way, and it will sit on the trolley okay as well. If there's 2 of us on it, then I would make it probably thinner than this. Then what I do is I always put my straps under it as well. I don't put them under after I've rolled it, I put them under before. That means you're not just lifting it up, all the weight up just to get the straps under. So I just put one under each side on the corners, just leave them hanging over. Then you're just going to squash the last of the air out. Make sure all the deflation zips are undone. So as you're going to be rolling the castle, it's going to be pushing the air out, not only towards the back through the pipe there, but it's going to push them out through the zips as well. So I'm just going to squash the front of it down. And once you've done that, you're ready to start rolling it. Now this one I say is quite a big castle and it's quite thick because you've got the slide section as well that you're rolling. So I just make it as small as I can on the first bit. Get it as tight as you can. Like I say, it was in the winter when I rolled this, so it's a lot harder to do than it is in the summer months. But once you get it started, you can sort of push most of the air out towards the back. As you can see, I'm rolling it from the middle, but if I need to pull it, I can reach over to either the left or the right hand side. On this one it was rolling quite well, so it didn't really matter. And then I'll just push it towards the back. If you were rolling the slide section, obviously you're going to have a lot more of it to roll. But if you fold the slide section in, you've only really got to then push it about 3 or 4 times to get it to where you want it. And then the straps that you've put under earlier on, you just bring them over to the front of the castle, tie them up. I always use 2 straps on them. Some people use 1, but I always find 2 is better. It stops all the material coming loose in the back of the van when it's bouncing around, and it's easier to transport it. Now as I say, I roll different castles different depending on what they are. This was a castle with a slide, and also I roll them differently depending on the manufacturer. But pretty much all of them, I'll pull down the back first, the 2 sides in, fold them over either in half or in a quarter, depending on the size of the castle, and then I'll roll it from the front to the back. Some people do it from the back to the front, but I always do it from the front to the back. And once you've done that, you just tighten up your straps, tuck them in so there's no loose ends. Then you can just get your trolley round in position. Put your blower away if you haven't already done that. I'm just wrapping the cable around the blower there.
Huh?
And then I'll just pick it up, put it on the trolley and put it away or into the back of the van. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Right, just before we go, we've got the last bit and the hardest bit. 1, 2, 3, up.
Didn't feel too bad, to be fair. Not wet inside it.